Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News for this Tuesday, August 28. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The body of a female was found with her throat slashed on the Winston Jones Highway in Manchester this morning. The deceased is of brown complexion, medium build, 5 feet 6 inches, has natural hair and appears to be in the late 20s. TVJ News has learned that around 1:25, the Mandeville police was on patrol when they saw a grey Toyota motor car parked along the highway. When the vehicle was searched, the police saw the doors opened and the woman wrapped in a sheet and placed in an igloo on the back seat with her throat slashed. The scene was processed and her body was taken to the morgue. The police is asking anyone who can assist in identifying the woman's body or anyone with information to assist by contacting the Mandeville CIB at 876-962-2832, the police at 119 emergency number or the nearest police station. Persons may also call 311 or 811. With 4 days to eviction and the seeming imminent closure, the administrators of the National Inter-School Brigade NIB are now pleading with the corporate Jamaica for assistance. The school provides rehabilitation programs for delinquent students suspended from the school system or directed from the children's courts. However, it is now being forced to leave the premises at 25 Studio One Boulevard for non-payment of rent, and the Education Ministry has withdrawn its full support. TVJ's Herman Green has been tracking the story.
After 18 years of operation, the National Inter-School Brigade, NIB, was given eviction notice in June this year to take effect on August 31. The administrators say they have been seeking the Education and Youth Ministry's intervention since then with no success. It's why the NIB's Acting Adjutant General, Ramon Williamson, says the school has been forced to seek assistance elsewhere.
What we need to get over the hurdle and to continue operating is more funding, more support from corporate Jamaica and Jamaica on a whole. The ministry, more support, more recognition from the ministry in the job that we are doing here.
That job is helping troubled children reintegrate into the school system. Students who have been put out of school for fighting, carrying weapons, smoking, gambling, and several other infractions. So far, they have been working with some 42 schools.
We have students here from Kingston High, we have students here from Spanish Town High, Clancarty, Mar Valley Primary and Junior High School. We have Calabar students, we have students visiting us from Merle Grove, and the list goes on, quite a few of them.
Since the start of this year, the school has seen 1,080 students participating in the program. Of that number, 800 were readmitted into schools and have not been reoffenders. 30 were reoffenders and were expelled. However, NIB continues to work with these children.
They go through classroom sessions, regimental training and so forth. In many cases, I usually recommend to students and their parents that the student be admitted into the cadet program, where they can be, because being a cadet, you're more disciplined, and being a part of us, then you'll be able to more guide you and mold you into that individual that you really want to become. As you had heard before, we have the monitoring programs where the support officers will go into the home and do their personalized intervention with those students.
The fear now is that with the seeming imminent closure, these students will be condemned to the unattached youth category and even a life of crime. Hence, an extended plea for help.
So I want to implore to the ministry, to corporate Jamaica, is that where it's a marvelous program, and we wouldn't want to close it down. It has been reaping success, it has been working wonders, and wherever any assistance can be tendered to the program for it to be, for us to keep the doors open, it will be appreciated.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is still at odds with the Education Ministry about the Jamaica Teaching Council bill. TVJ's O'Shane Masters has that report.
Despite an announcement by Education Minister Senator Roel Reid that the final reviews are now taking place for the Jamaica Teaching Council JTC bill, concerns are still being raised by the Jamaica Teachers Association, the JTA. The JTC bill seeks to provide for the establishment of a governing body for the teaching profession and institute a regime for the licensing and registration of all government-paid teachers. Speaking at the recently held JTA annual conference, newly installed president of the association, Dr. Garth Addison, described the penalties in the bill as excessive.
For example, operating without a license could see a teacher serving 6 months in prison or pay $500,000.
The JTA is therefore calling on the Education Ministry to revisit that aspect of the bill. He says the bill should be one that seeks to uplift the teaching profession and not have teachers working in fear.
The penalties are excessive, and having said all of that, the discourse must continue to ensure that we get a bill that achieves its stated objective. We do not have to be always punitive to get compliance.
Following its review, the bill will be sent back to the Cabinet Legislative Committee. Senator Reid is hoping to table it in Parliament before the end of this calendar year. Meanwhile, the hierarchy of the JTA wants a concerted effort by the Education Ministry to carry out professional development in a more structured manner.
We must do away with the seemingly haphazard approach to engage our teachers during midterm breaks and holidays for professional development. We have noticed with grave concern that holiday breaks are slowly eroding, and as a past President Minister, you must guard against any such trend. Teachers are suffering from burnout and fatigue, and if we fail to put a halt to this practice, very soon we'll be getting diminishing returns.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And with only a few days before the official start of the new school year, one institution in Old Harbour St. Catherine is expressing safety concerns for its students. That's because of this tilting utility pole only a few meters away from the students' play area. Speaking with TVJ News on Monday, head teacher at the Old Harbour Early Childhood Institution, Joycelyn Gordon, expressed frustration as she said numerous reports have been made to the Jamaica Public Service Company about the pole since last year.
We got several tracking numbers from several different persons. I asked to speak with a supervisor. They took the information. Nothing is being done. The last thing we were told, they said the matter has gone to resolved. I asked them, what does that mean? They said that the technicians will come and dig up a hole to do some form of repairs. Until today, nobody came. I called them this morning again because school will be reopening Monday. Nobody could give me any information.
When TVJ News contacted the JPS, we were told that a team from the company carried out initial checks last Wednesday. Based on those checks, they do not consider it an imminent threat even though the pole is no longer upright. As to the timeline to have the issue addressed, we were told that repairs on the post will be carried out on Friday, August 31. In news overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Monday that the United States and Mexico have reached a preliminary trade agreement. Details from the CNN.
They used to call it NAFTA. We're going to call it the United States-Mexico Trade Agreement.
From the Oval Office Monday, President Trump announced that the U.S. and Mexico have hammered out a preliminary trade deal that, quote, modernizes and rebalances the trade relationship to reflect the realities of the 21st century. The president has been a vocal critic of the 1993 NAFTA treaty, and negotiations to rewrite it began about a year ago.
We'll get rid of the name NAFTA. It has a bad connotation.
In an effort to take on what the president said were unfair trade practices worldwide, the U.S. imposed tariffs on some steel and aluminum imports earlier this year, including those from Mexico. Mexico retaliated with tariffs on some U.S. products, including apples, pork, and bourbon. The details of the deal have yet to be made public, and it remains to be seen whether Mexico has agreed to the terms announced. But the White House says the deal with Mexico includes rules incentivizing more automobile production in the U.S. and commitments to improving agricultural trade.
This is something that's very special for our manufacturers and for our farmers from both countries, for all of the people that work.
The White House characterized the proposal as a bilateral one, meaning that unlike NAFTA, Canada was not part of today's announcement. But President Trump indicated that that would happen separately.
But one way or the other, we have a deal with Canada. It'll either be a tariff on cars or it'll be a negotiated deal.
And in sports, the senior reggae girls chalked up their second straight win in the final round of the CONCACAF Caribbean Championship, blanking Bermuda 4-0 at the National Stadium on Monday evening. Trudy Carter in the 17th, Konya Plummer in the 32nd, Khadija Shaw in the 61st, and Giselle Washington in time added were the scorers for the reggae girls. The reggae girls, who had beaten Antigua and Barbuda 9-0 in their opening game on Saturday, will next face Trinidad and Tobago on Friday. In the earlier game, Cuba defeated Antigua and Barbuda 7-0. The top three teams from the CFU final round will advance to the CONCACAF Women's Championship in the United States in October. The CONCACAF tournament will crown a regional champion and qualify 3 teams for the FIFA Women's World Cup in France next year. The fourth-place finisher will contest the Intercontinental Playoff for a ticket to France. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.